Bog Panda.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bog Panda. I am Dr. Mike, Edificial Pagan on everything, and joining me, as always,
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And if you get a chance, please consider subscribing to the Bog Panda YouTube channel. Take a look at a few of our videos. Give a like to any that you feel deserve it. Give comments to the ones you feel don't. Let us know that kind of stuff. Maybe take a look at our fine merchandise. And continue to throw us ideas for, we don't have a name for it yet, but the Bog Panda Doom mod that we will eventually do. If you've got ideas, we'll take them.
absolutely. So today we just wanted to kind of drop in and talk about our National Owners Day purchases. We're, a little after National Owners Day because we wanted to get an opportunity to really kind of play with some of this stuff and give you our kind of feedback and quick review of the products that we picked up. So I think I ended up grabbing more stuff than you did, Kelly.
Yeah, significantly.
But what did you pick up?
Yeah, so I did basically. So I talked a big game. I was going to get 2 pinball packages. I ended up just going with one, which is the Sicaria Volume 2, the one that's got Hot Wheels, locomotive, zombie.
And I also picked up Sicaria Volume 2. So what are your kind of first thoughts? Because this is your first time. This is my second Sicaria pack and your first. What are your kind of thoughts on the overall quality and look?
So I mean, you were spot on in your description of them, in that for certain tables, Hot Wheels is an example of it. You get multiple versions of it, so you get kind of their main attempt at a video pinball game, and then there's a kind of remix or upgrade version where they kind of fancy it up and kind of add some newer technology to it and experiences, and then a retro version, which is really scaled back to kind of have a 1960s feel and look to it. And so they don't do it for every game on there, but they do it for quite a few of them. And it was pretty good in terms of select. Hot Wheels, which was the one I had kind of been most interested in. I like the standard game quite a bit. I actually like the kind of remix version a lot as well. As you mentioned when you reviewed it, you said, "Hey, I'm not really sold on these the kind of old school ones because it's just not as exciting of gameplay and there's not a whole lot to it." I'd have to agree with that, and particularly for the Hot Wheels one, because one, the flippers face the wrong way. It's one of these ones where it comes down and the flippers, are your left and right flipper, the buttons hit the left and right as you'd expect, but the flippers are actually kind of kicking out to the side of the machine versus up to the center of the machine. And I can't wrap my brain around it at all. I don't want to. It's not the way pinball should be played. And so that was it. But I like the variety of things. There were a few games, like I said on here, that I have become big fans of already. Locomotion is definitely one of them. And the Locomotion remix, I think it's almost my favorite table on the whole thing, with the exception of there is just so much going on with the Locomotion thing where there are kind of upper tracks that the ball can go down, that there's just kind of so much scaffolding hanging over the playing field that there's 3 sets of flippers in Locomotion in the remix version. And the second set is so buried underneath this scaffolding, you frequently lose the ball in there and you can't see it, or you forget the flippers are there, you can't really see the flippers. And so that affects the gameplay a little bit, but overall it's still just such a cool play that the Locomotion stuff I think is fantastic, and the Hot Wheels stuff I love quite a bit as well. And Zombies was another one. Now that one, there's only a single version of the game, but it's a good version of the game. So that's really excellent there. And then House of Diamonds, that was the one I was trying to come up with earlier. I like House of Diamonds a lot too. So I was pleased with the quality. I don't have the Gottlieb tables to kind of do a bit of a compare and contrast to it. I'm playing these up on the projector. It's fantastic gameplay from there.
Now, do you have a lighting setting preference? Because it gives you those morning, afternoon, and night kind of modes.
Night, probably. Kind of a little bit, I think, tracks a little bit with what you were talking about in terms of looking for the one with the biggest pop.
Yeah.
So that part was really cool. But and I'm assuming they hired the guy who is there is some guy out there whose job it is to do video game voiceovers, or just announce games. And so every one of these games that comes up, it's like zombies, locomotion, or locomotion. And that voice is the voice I think you've heard as you've walked through an arcade. Someone will say, not the Sinistar voice, but just another guy just going through. So the interface is kind of nice to kind of do to get that nice little introduction to the game from our friendly voice going into it. And the different lighting stuff's really cool as well. But yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I'm glad I got it. And it's been a good addition to it. I'm mostly doing it on my core. I will move it over and have it because it's associated with my ArcadeNet account, so I can play it on my Legends as well. I haven't really done much on that yet because one, I've got the Legends 1.0, so I don't have flippers on the side. So gameplay is not really much different than using a controller in that respect. And two, I don't have the ability, unlike Dr. Mike, to rotate my screen in any easy way to accomplish a vertical screen. So I'll still try it on there, but most of my experience in the past playing on there is I'm liking it a lot better at about 5.5 feet. So that seems to be a good way to play it. So I said I went a little lighter than I planned to on it, but I'm glad I got what I got. But let's talk about your treasure trove of goodies that you took advantage of on Owners Day.
Yeah, I added a few things. I also got the Zakaria Volume 2. The standout for that for me is the zombies one because I never played that. So that was brand new to me, obviously on my alley content wise, and super fun table. Just been having a lot of fun with it. So that's the one I played the most. Made it up on the leaderboards for it. So, and it was a good one to really try out because I bought the Gottlieb pack, and in very anti AtGames fashion, I got my controller that came with that bundle pretty quickly. So I was able to try that out, and I was testing that out on zombies, and it works great. I didn't have any kind of issues or anything like that until so a weird thing happens. Now, first, the good thing about the controller with pinball games, there's an across the board, and now that I've got Gottlieb, I can assure you it happens on them too, thing where hitting the start button doesn't start the game right away. You have to sit there and hit it a few times for the game to start. And it's not an issue with the button because on non-pinball games, they start right away. So I don't know what it is with that. Now, when I got the controller, you hit start on the controller, it starts immediately. And it gives you the option of using the actual arcade unit or the controller when you're playing. So that's a quick fix for the start button issue, except you can still, with the controller attached, you can still use the flipper buttons on the side. But when the controller is attached for the pinball games, the buttons on the actual arcade unit do not work anymore. So I wasn't able to adjust the lighting or anything like that, which you can do during the game normally. On the actual arcade setup, like I can just, hit the buttons to adjust the lighting or anything like that. Anything I need to do when the controller's hooked up, though, that no longer works. So that was a little frustrating because I feel like the start thing is weird playing off of just the unit, and then disabling other buttons when you're playing with the controller is another weird trade-off there. So I feel like these are probably things they can fix with updates.
Yeah.
So, hopefully these won't be issues for too long, but they're worth noting so you don't think something's broken when you get it kind of thing. So like I said, though, I did get the Gottlieb pack, and I also got the Taito Volume 2 pack, mostly for one particular game, Operation Wolf. So the Taito ones have never been, so unlike the Zakaria ones, which you get, while you do get, the upgraded remix version and then the retro version, you do get the original game, a digitized version of the original table, which is nice. And that's how I prefer to play, I think, for most of them, although the upgraded ones are cool too. Retro is not really for me, like we already kind of covered. I get it. Like if you're familiar with those kind of tables, and I have seen them before, those like 1960s really stripped down ones, like they look interesting and again really well made, just like all the other ones, but that's not for me. That's not what I grew up playing. That's not what I gravitate towards. So it's cool that it's there for some variety, but there's just very little appeal to me for playing those ones. Um, those the Taito ones though are based on video games, and they're complete video pinball. These have never been physical units. So you get like animations and sound effects and music and things like that, like they're a regular video game pinball. And then one game on each pack is a full-on video game with like animated characters that pop up and effects and things like that. In the first pack, it was Space Invaders, and in this one, it's Operation Wolf. And it works in a really similar way, like the way that the game's set up. It's just modeled after Operation Wolf, but similar waves of characters you have to kill, similar kind of power-ups and weapons and stuff. It's just a little bit better than Space Invaders, though, only because the graphics are slightly better, like just the design of the characters and things like that. Where Space Invaders, it's aliens that look like the aliens on the side of the Space Invaders cabinet. These are like soldiers, so they're more detailed. There's different weapons and things like that. So even though it's very comparable, like if you played them side by side, like I'm sure it's the same skeleton they used for them and just kind of reskinned it, but it looks good though. Like the soldiers look great, the sound effects are great, so really highly recommend that. And both the Zakaria and the Taito ones are made by the same company, Magic Pixel, and they just do a great job. The quality level is really up there, and as Kelly can attest to as well, like everything just looks great, sounds great. Then there's the Gottlieb tables. So I'd put off getting the Gottlieb tables, even though there was quite a few I really wanted, like Haunted House and Black Hole and things like that, because I'd seen things saying that they were of a lesser quality and saw a lot of mixed reviews of them. That's true now that I've played them side by side. And the thing is, though, it's not that they're bad. Like these aren't poorly made or unplayable or anything like that. It's not like they're broken. It's just that the Magic Pixel, the Zakaria, and the Taito ones, they're great. Like they're on a really high quality level. So had I played the Gottlieb ones first, I would have been like, this is great. These are super fun. But going from something that is clearly a few steps above that to kind of knocking it down to the more bare bones presentation of the Gottlieb ones, it's like, this isn't as good. I'm glad I got them because I'm still having fun playing those tables. Lots of great pinball action. Again, they're well made. It's just a noticeable step down. The graphics are not as good. Instead of totally rebuilding the tables for like the instruction card and the graphics and stuff, it was clearly like scans of the actual elements, and it looks that way. Just like some cut corners on there, and the resolution is clearly a step down from the Magic Pixel ones. I read that they're only 720 instead of 1080, like the Magic Pixel ones. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you would check the resolution on the cabinet without hooking something else up to it, but I could see that though. They are clearly a step down in resolution. So it makes sense if they're 720 instead of 1080. Again, good games. If I just played these on their own, these are solid video pinball games, and I'm glad that I have them. It's just when you compare them to what can be done in that AtGames ecosystem, it doesn't compare to those, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, physics about the same on both, would you say?
Yeah, they're about the same, but you notice right away the kind of step down in resolution. You're missing a lot of the bells and whistles, like you don't have the lighting settings and all that kind of stuff. Instead of having the table, completely digitally rebuilt, like I said, there's obvious scans of things that are just kind of dropped into place, and it just feels like a step down. But again, fun to play. The physics are good. Everything plays well. So I have no complaints about it. It's just not quite the same thing. But I am glad that I got it. And I'm glad I got it the way that I did, because it was significantly marked down. I think it was like 63% off or something like that. So it was a deep, deep discount on there. So I'm glad I got it. But I'm also glad I didn't pay full price for it.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So you're just going back for a second to your controller. So you're connecting it to the Mini, playing it on the Mini. Are you playing it wired, or have you connected it wirelessly?
So I was playing it wired.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder what your button circumstance is going to be if you pair it and play it wirelessly. I don't know if that'll help or not. It might be worth an experiment to find out. But
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm going to play it. I have it in here actually with me right now because I was going to try it out on some Steam games and things like that and see how it works. The quality I really like. It's a big step up over the stuff you get with like Super Console X and all.
yeah,
I would say it's a step down from an actual Xbox controller. Like it doesn't have that heft
yep.
that an Xbox controller does. So it's a little bit of a step down from that. But again, that's Zucari and Gottlieb kind of, comparison. It's not exactly fair to them that Xbox has really nailed making these great controllers that work on everything. But I really like it. It has the rumble function on there and everything, and it worked great for everything. The start button works for pinball. So
It's a good thing. Yeah. And I was just, and we kind of chronicled in past conversations, for my core, trying to sync even an Xbox One controller to my core has been a challenge. And so I basically was playing with a core with got a big long USB cord extension, and was playing with an Xbox One controller wired because that was the easiest way to go. So getting the AtGames controller, um, once you kind of get the initial pairing, you're just going to be able to go back and hit that pairing button the next time you're playing the core, or I'm sure this is going to be true for, you'll have to menu it to get to it for your mini, but I think it'll be a pretty quick pairing. So it'd be interesting to see. So I think it'll be kind of cool to see if you go wireless on, and how it plays out for you.
yeah, that'll be the next experiment for it. And then, like I said, I want to try it on some Steam games, try it on the Super Console X, just kind of see where it works best.
Yep.
But I did get it primarily as a second controller for the mini, and it seems like it's going to do just fine for that.
Excellent. Good to hear. Well, AtGames, Mike loves you more than I do this year. So, and you actually delivered his stuff.
Yeah, it came pretty quickly.
So that's pretty impressive. So good to hear. We'll look forward to because I think they're talking about doing a couple National Owners Days each year. So there may be another one in the September timeframe. We'll certainly keep you appraised on what's going on there. But if you picked up anything you want to let us know in the comments, that'd be cool to hear too.
Absolutely. Well, anything else you wanted to add, sir?
I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.